Good morning. It's 9:03 on a Monday morning. I'm very excited. We have an awesome show lined up for you today. This is the best way you can start your week. I guarantee it. It's going to be a lot of fun. We got Tracy coming in with Stop the Violence. I got my good friend Chevy coming in during the 10 o'clock hour. We're going to be talking how he saved me from a pickle. I got into a predicament yesterday, and Chevy came through, and he hooked it up, and he got me taken care of, and I'm not really going to go too far into that, but during that 10 o'clock hour, you're not going to want to miss it as we chat on that. There's a lot going on in the world today, and I want to hear from you. I want to hear what you have going on this week. What kind of plans do you have? What kind of goals have you been making that you're going to crush? You know, it's really difficult to try, whenever you look at the big picture of things, and you see a goal, and like, is this attainable? Can I do this week? But you have to take it like one step at a time. And so for me, there's some goals that I have, you know, that I'm hoping to accomplish today. And then there's some that I'm hoping to get done, you know, before the week is over. So I want to hear from you, see what you got going on. We're going to be having a lot of fun. I wanted to talk about something with my good friend, my good intern, my best bud in the whole world, Mr. Ethan, who is behind the camera and kind of handling some of the duties of KHEA radio this morning. Ethan, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good. I finally have mic privileges and working on that camera privilege.
That's what you, yeah, we chatted and joked about that. I said, Ethan, one step at a time. So, hey, I asked you before we went on air, have you seen any of the stuff about like vaping, e-cigs, and them getting like pulled off the shelves in different states and flavors?
Until this morning, I hadn't heard anything about it. I mean, I follow the Real Cost on Facebook. You know, they've been promoting all that kind of stuff, but I guess I've been missing it.
Yeah. So, Ethan, how old are you?
I'm 17.
You're 17, and what's your school situation?
I am currently doing dual credit classes at College of the Mainland.
Yeah, and I think if I understand correctly, I think like College of the Mainland and most universities may be nicotine free, or I know like high schools are. You can't bring certain things on, you know. And I asked you, have you ever seen anybody walking around like vaping or juuling or smoking cigarettes at college?
I have not seen anybody. That doesn't necessarily mean that it is, but yeah. I mean, I'll definitely be on the eye, or I'll have an eye out for it.
Yeah, I feel you. Do you think that's a good idea? Like, if they're starting to ban this nationwide, I think New York, you know, banned this. Walmart's pulling all of the e-cigarettes off the shelves. What do you think? How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel a lot better about people's health. I mean,
yeah.
I feel like they've, you know, heard it, how it's like damaging their lungs and whatnot, and they honestly don't seem to care a lot of the time. So just taking it away from them altogether, it's just better for them.
Yeah, I think for young people, you know, we do a lot with some of the local organizations, and we've touched on that we don't really know the long-term effects of e-cigarettes. We don't know the long-term effects of vaping because it has not been out, or it's been out for a while, we found out, but it hasn't been as popular. And the flavors they're making, you referenced like a meme or something. What was it?
It's like e-cigarette companies, you know, e-cigs aren't for kids. Also e-cigarette companies, cotton candy, bubblegum, lollipops. Yeah. Like those are kids' flavors.
That's literally marketed towards like babies. You know what I mean? Yeah, sure. If I asked my kids like, "Hey, what do you want? Lollipop flavor or like tobacco flavor?" Yeah, lollipop. So, I think it's a good thing. You know, it's good to stay up to date and aware on these kinds of issues, especially because they affect us. You know, they affect my kids, my family, my friend Ethan. It affects everybody. So, make sure that you are kind of paying attention to those local, especially like national stories as they go out, as Walmart announced they are going to stop selling e-cigarettes altogether. Right now, it's 9:07. This is KHEAradio.com. There's a couple things I want to touch on before we bring in Tracy. Ethan's actually going to go out there, start chatting, and get him prepped to come in. If you have not heard of our Taco Taco Cook-Off, I want you to mark it in your calendar right now, October 12th. October 12th, right here in Lamarck, Texas. You can go to talkoftaco.com to learn more. This is an event that is absolutely free to attend. You know, there's been some confusion, and I've talked to some people about that, and this is our first time to do an event like this, and we're trying to make sure that there is no confusion. The Talk of Taco Cook-Off is absolutely free for you to attend. It is family friendly, so you can bring the entire family. I promise there's going to be activities for you to do, for your kids to do. There's going to be all kinds of stuff. Some stuff is going to be free. Some stuff is going to have some kind of charge. It kind of depends on the vendor that's out there. But we have a ton of vendors. We have a bunch of cool sponsors. We have cook-off teams who are going to be cooking tacos, competing for, we have about $1,000 in cash prizes, and we have trophies they're going to be competing for. So if you have a cook-off team, if you know a restaurant, if you know you make the best tacos in the world and you want to sign up, let's go. talkoftaco.com. You can do that. If you do not want to sign up and cook, but you just want to come out and attend something that's free, something that is family friendly, that you're going to love and you're going to want to be able to brag about, that you went to the inaugural Talk of Taco Cook-Off, then this is for you. October 12th. It's a Saturday starting at 9 a.m. It's going to be over at 3 p.m. I know there's a lot of events in October, but we wanted to get this event out as soon as possible, and that was the best date for us. And you know what? Next year, we're going to be looking to the calendar at the beginning of the year, and I'm going to book it out to make sure that the second annual Talk of Taco Cook-Off is going to be a huge success. So again, good morning to you. What's up, Rudy? What's up, Jordan? What's up, Paige? And my good friend Paul. Shout out to Southern Sass Vinyl and more. I see there's some other people hanging out as well. So feel free to share this out. If you're watching on Facebook, thank you again. Thank you for taking the time and hanging out. I feel like we're going to impart something into your life today that is going to be beneficial. You're going to be able to take this with you. You're going to be able to learn from it. You're going to be able to maybe even share it out. That's one of the best ways that you can kind of help me, that you can help KHEA Radio grow. The more that you share out our content, the more that we're going to be able to impact our community in a positive manner. We broadcast live from the campus of Abundant Life right here in Lamarck, Texas, every weekday, which Monday through Friday from 9 o'clock to 11. Today we're going to be talking about a local group of people that's come together and started something right here in Lamarck called Stop the Violence. We're going to talk about why it's necessary. We're going to talk about the things that they've done so far. I've seen them hit the streets hard. They've been, posting on social media, and not just social media things, which social media is a great tool whenever it's used properly, but they're also having these events, and there was one yesterday, so we're going to find out about it. There was pictures that I saw. I believe it was 4 o'clock, and Sunday's a pretty busy day for me, so I have not been able to attend yet, but I want to make sure that I get out there. But they are having these job fair type get-togethers. They're also having different people that are kind of sharing their positive message, so we're going to learn everything that is going on with that. So, hey, good morning. I see Christina on here from Tink's Towing. Shout out to Tink's Towing. They were doing some really cool things in the community and traveling out to East Texas to help some people out. I saw that they were doing that. I shared it out, and then I'm so glad that I-45 Now actually spotlighted them for being able to be the good here in our community, which is what we're all about here at KHEA, here at Abundant Life. And I think we need to spotlight some more cool things going on, and that's why we're going to be talking to Tracy and some of the rest of the people with Stop the Violence this morning. So if you have any questions, again, feel free to ask. If you have any thoughts, if you have anything that you would like for me to help get the word out, if it's positive, I want to do it. If it is helping people in our area, then let's go. So, hey, Tracy, she's getting ready, and we're going to be able to chat here for a bit and talk about everything that they have going on. And there was even an event, I believe, yesterday. So, Tracy, hey, how's it going?
Hey, how you doing? Good.
I'm doing good. There was an event yesterday, right? Y'all got together?
Yes, we did.
I think it was at 4 o'clock. Can you kind of walk me through what that event looks like?
Yesterday was amazing. We had a job fair and a career fair, open to the public, all for youth, whether they had GED, no GED, any dropouts at the 7th grade level. It was just open to the community. Yeah. It was really good. It was at Lamarck Library from 4 to 6. We had everybody out there. We had Army, we had WorkSource, Barber College, Beauty College. It was just phenomenal. Kimbrell Foundation, Project Give Back, Stop the Violence 409 was out there. Just different organizations out there. And just to see the turnout was amazing in the library.
Yeah.
Today.
Has the library, the community, the city, have they been pretty helpful whenever it comes to putting these events on?
The city of Lamarck have been amazing. 2 weeks ago, we had another event. We had a city prayer. Everyone came out. Everybody was there. The mayor was there, city manager, Chris Lane was out there, one of my commissioners. Tink Jackson was there. Who else was there? It was just everybody. Everybody came out there. The chief of police was there. the citizens, police citizens were out there. It was cool. The academy was out there. Everybody was out there, so it was really nice.
Okay, cool. Why did y'all start doing this? Why is it necessary?
There was a lot of killings that's been going on in our community. Our community means so much to us. And we just decided as a team to just get together and say, you know what, let's all meet up and let's take a stand. Let's do something. Let's take our community back. And we're not doing it alone. We're on multiple organizations together doing this along with the help of the city. It's been very supportive and been there every step of the way.
Yeah, and that first one, where was that at? Was it at a local park, or where was
Walter
it?
Fargo Park. It was right next to Lamarck Library.
Right next to the library, which if you have not been to the library, it's, what's the name of that? That's not Scott. What street is that?
Bayou.
Okay, yeah. So it's right there in Lamarck. If you go down there, you'd be able to, pass the library. There's a park right there, and that's a really good spot. It's kind of in the center, really.
Right, of everything.
Lamarck.
It's the heart of Lamarck. Right?
So right now it's 9:14. This is KHEARadio.com, 99.5 FM. We're gonna wait a bit. We're gonna switch on the FM. I'm gonna let y'all introduce yourselves because I can't recall your name. What's your name?
My name is Brother Wayne Hopgood.
Okay. What's your name?
My name is Kenny Summers.
Okay. We got Wayne, and we got Kenny.
Yes, sir.
How are y'all doing today?
I'm doing
Blessed.
And are y'all from here, from Lamarck as well?
Born and
Yes,
raised.
sir.
Okay,
Yes,
cool.
sir.
Is it an easy, that decision whenever you see something, an opportunity, hey, we need to get together to talk to people, and we need to have a conversation and start to pray and see what actions. Is it just kind of, that's an easy decision to make, be like, yeah, let me get involved with this?
Right. Well, one of the things is that Miss Stein, she came up with uniting the community to come together, all organizations on one accord, to go out into our community and really make a difference. You know the old saying, it takes a village.
It does.
And so this is one of the attempts to pull together the village in order to assess what we need in our communities and then provide them with that.
Yeah. There's a lot of good things that go on in Lamarck. And for far too long, I think that only the bad things were given light.
Right.
And you see that posted on social media or the news, and people don't see, the good things and the people that are stepping up being like, hey, let's make a difference. And that's one of the reasons I'm excited, for KHEA Radio to try and help spotlight. We did a Shine On, and the city has been a big help with that, as well.
Right.
And when you look at it, there's violence that happens everywhere.
All over the place.
Yeah, but for some reason in Galveston County, people like to look at Lamarck and almost like kind of just pick at it in a way that I think isn't fair.
Right.
And but for y'all, to get together and be like, hey, these things do happen here, but we're going to make a difference. Is that kind of like the vision, the goal?
That is the goal.
Okay.
We get together, we see a need, and we go after it. And this is a need for our city. We love our city. We have an amazing city that we live in, and violence has been something that's starting to spark a little bit. So we want to go ahead and get a cap on it in any way we can.
Yes.
So we decided to come at it a different aspect, saying, hey, let's help them. Let's get in. Let's get involved. Let's help with jobs. Let's help out with careers and get in at that point.
Awesome. All right, so we're going to go ahead and switch it. We'll go on the FM, and we'll keep it going. I'll get y'all reintroduced, and we'll talk about how people can get involved as well.
Thank you.
Good morning. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. Right now it is 9:17 on a Monday morning. I'm excited. Hey, we got some friends that are right here from Lamarck, Texas in studio. They're going to be talking about how they got together, why they got together, and what you can do to get involved to make a difference. Right now we have Tracy, we got Wayne, we got Kenny here hanging out with us in KHEA Radio studios, and we're going to be talking about Stop the Violence. And, on your shirt, can you kind of read what it says at the top?
It says, we can, we will, we shall.
Stop the violence. Who kind of came up with that idea of Stop the Violence?
So I came up with the idea of getting together different organizations and groups. We know we can't do it by ourselves, but I've already was working with an amazing team, these two. And then we joined together with other organizations in the community. And so together, with all of the organizations together with one goal, we are Stop the Violence 409.
Yeah. Why is that important for people to care about their community? A lot of times people say like, it's been that way. It's going to be that way. I can't make a difference. Is it important for people to step up and, hey, let's start now and make a change?
We have so many organizations in our community that do different things. And it was amazing to sit down at the table with everybody and come together to find out what each one of us do. We all have something amazing to bring to the table, and getting together and just knocking it out as one goal has been good, and we have a ways to go, but we have some great things that's getting ready to happen
All right.
in our community.
And yesterday, y'all had an event. Can you kind of walk me through what that event was and who all was out there?
So yesterday we had the Army out there, WorkSource was out there, Kimbrell Foundation was there, Stop the Violence 409, Project Give Back was out there yesterday, and Flora was out there. Flora came out there, and we've been getting a lot of calls from the different organizations, but that was one that was in particular yesterday that I was that did something different. They have free college for students, for dropouts, for anybody. And it blew my mind when they came in for pipe fitter, the welding program, first level helper program, instrumentation. And a young man came in yesterday, and this is a true story. I was dropping my son off, and I passed him up on the side of the road, and I asked him, "Hey, what you doing at 4 o'clock?" It was 2 guys walking, and they looked at me like, "Hey, man." And I didn't come too close to him.
Yeah.
I screamed out, "Hey, at Lamarck Library at 4 p.m. today, try to catch a ride or try to get there." I said, "We got jobs and we got careers." He's like, "Yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am." And I was thinking, okay, he probably thinks I'm some crazy lady, just, but hey, you never know. Well, I went to my car and came back in, and that young man was getting dropped off by his dad. And he said, "Dad, that's the lady." And I'm looking at him. He looked different from when I seen him on the road.
Yeah.
But he was going in. So I was like, "Oh, that's the guy. Let me go in and make sure." So when I came in, I introduced him to the guy at the table that was giving out free college.
Mm-hmm.
He was 18 years old, and he told him he didn't have a ride to college, but he wanted to go. They signed him up yesterday and hooked him up with a program where he gets dropped off at 6 o'clock in the morning. And then at 6 o'clock in the morning, they will drive him to his college. He starts on January 6th.
That's awesome.
And after he got done with that, he registered to vote. We had the registered to vote table up there yesterday, too. So he was able to do that. And just to see that was just heartwarming, and that was good enough for me.
And that was just you in the car driving by, and for some reason just being like, "Hey, I need to say something."
Just
like that little just a little word, and that's changed his life.
That did my heart. I mean, that was we can just save one, you know. And yesterday just shows you just never know.
I met a gentleman who went through that floor program. He works at A&A Machine and Fabrication right there, in Lamarck. If you're going past the high school, you keep going, it's on the right, and they've been there for years. But there's a guy, and he has a story. He went through that program and then ended up getting a job over there at A&A and being able to provide for his, his family and his kids and all that.
I mean, you can't beat it. I mean, 12 weeks of training for free.
Mm-hmm.
It's 480 hours. They give you transportation to get there. It's 7 to 5, and you're done. And they help with job placement.
Yeah.
You don't have to have a diploma, no degree, 7th grade education, and just go. You can't beat that.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, and people, if you don't know, then you can't participate.
That's right.
And that's why it's so important to have these events and in job fairs and just try and get as many people there as possible. Right. With the turnout that y'all had yesterday at the library for the job fair, is that something y'all plan to hold again and do?
We've been getting inbox this morning. We were just sitting there looking at our messages, and people saying I didn't have money or I couldn't get to it.
Yeah.
But it looks like we're going to have to go larger. And we're excited about doing it. It's just seeing the people and looking back at what happened yesterday. There's some work to do, and it's good work to do. That it is a need in our community, and we'll be doing it again.
Yep. For the first event that y'all had with Stop the Violence 409 over there at the Park and the Prayer, there was a good turnout. Was there conversation and prayer, or was there police officers, with city officials, like who all came, and the normal people as well?
It was great. I'm gonna let Hopgood cover that.
Okay.
Yeah, we got together, and it was great that the mayor came out, the city officials came out, and it was just amazing to see them there. Their duty to care, and their concern for our youth, and not just our youth, but all the citizens of this great city, Lamarck. So whenever we came out there and we had a combined prayer, it was a beautiful and powerful moment to see us holding hands with fellow citizens, our mayor, the police chief, our city manager. It was just a great and awesome and powerful event, and it was the beginning of something great.
Yeah.
There's been a dark cloud looming over Lamarck, but I'm telling you, there's some light coming out.
Yes.
And I can just see and understand that God is making a mighty move, and He's starting with us. And I'm just so excited about what's going to happen, what's to come, and just continue to be on the lookout. Because Lamarck, we're gonna be like the comeback kids. I mean,
Yes.
we're gonna be great. It's gonna be. I can envision us being a pilot for other cities. Hey, let's come together. Let's. The only way to be able to truly stop the violence is in unity and to help the impoverished and to give people what they need. The violence is the fruit, but we are dealing with the root of the situation.
Yes.
And so when we reestablish the root, we can get some good fruit. And guess what? It's on the way. And we're excited and happy. We also like to applaud all the other organizations that's coming together to give their giftedness and their talents to this particular organization, Stop the Violence. Like I say, it's a plethora of different organizations coming together with different ministries, with different outreaches, with different, like Tracy said earlier, the job fairs to help the impoverished, to be able to just give the people and meet them with the need right where they are. And so I see God doing amazing things, and so we're just excited about this.
Hey, Kenny, how did you get involved, and why was it important for you to want to be a part of this organization?
So yeah, I'm involved in the community a lot. I have a studio and stuff, and I'm really in touch with a lot of the younger people. So one day, me and Tracy got together, and we talked, and she got me a part of the team because she knew I can shed a light differently because I have a younger crowd. So we got together, and I'm all anything she got for me, I'm all for it. So
That's cool. Yeah, it takes there's people that if I say something, they won't listen to me.
Right.
And then there's people that will listen to me.
Right.
But then if you have it could be the exact same message.
Right.
They'll listen to you, Tracy. Maybe they won't listen to you. But it takes everybody. That's why it's important.
Yeah.
Even if people think like, I don't know, if intern Ethan, who's over here, he's a big help,
Right.
said like, man, I don't know, will I make a difference? The answer is
Right.
yes, because there's people out there who will listen to his message and not mine.
Absolutely.
Right. And also, we were just talking about doing a Stop the Violence concert, and have some of the younger artists, the upcoming artists come and showcase their talent. So we was just talking about that too. So that might be another event that we do.
That's awesome, yeah. And then again, like those artists, if they want to make a stand,
Right.
people are gonna listen to them. They won't listen to me.
Right,
You know.
right.
And we will do that.
So that's
Right.
that's awesome.
There's a lot of messages that come through music
Mm-hmm.
and that persuade our young people. And we decided to, let's take a different approach. So that's something that will be on the calendar, that we're going to have a Stop the Violence concert.
Yeah.
That's coming. We're going to have a street team that's coming out. We're looking at dates as far as October 20th for our next movement, where we're going out to the community and talk to the community. and
Yeah.
reach out.
That's been something that has been around, like the message in music. And I remember being a kid and even like looking at like documentaries of like the 80s, music. And it's like, well, this is violence, in music.
Right.
What is that doing to our kids and our communities and moms, and then the parental advisory on there.
Right.
The message is important, but there's always there's an artist and then there's their real life.
Right.
And I think separating that, I mean, me and Ethan earlier were talking about those Tekashi 6ix9ine memes that are going around about
Right.
him, snitching or ratting or
Right.
whatever happened. And I don't want to touch on it too much,
Yeah.
but he got caught up living out his songs,
Mhm.
Yes.
and a lot of times there's other people that it's music, hey, this is business, whatever. But, and then also the kids were like, hey, I'm living this life.
Right.
And then you get caught up and you do, get caught and sent to jail for life,
Yeah.
and so we got to do something to be able to help separate or maybe even change those artists' message. And
That's right.
Right.
on a local level, I think is where it needs to start.
Right. So we're going at it different angles, and that's a different angle. Just like the people that he reach out is different from different people that I reach out. It's
Yeah.
different from what Hobgood reaches out. So we're pretty excited about that because we'll be able to transition music, as far as the violence and things like that, to put everybody on a positive note.
Mm-hmm.
So we feed it to them, and then we'll deliver it. So we're excited about that. That's going to be the next move.
Right, and that's awesome. And we definitely we serve a triune God, and we want to address the people with exactly how they're made up: body, mind, and spirit. And so I believe that we're going to come at an approach and with to be able to create situations where we can address each of those aspects of an individual: their body, their mind, and also the spiritual aspects of one's life. So we want to be able to offer all those things for a complete healing in our community.
Mm-hmm. All right. So right now it's 9:28. This is KHEA Radio.com, 99.5 FM. We're going to take a quick break on the FM. We're going to keep it going on our Facebook stream. If you're watching on Facebook, feel free to share this out.
Hi, share it.
Yeah. If you have any questions, let us know.
Right.
99.5 FM. It was just blank, huh?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's the right one, right? I'll just leave it off then.
It looked like we live right now.
Yeah, we're on Facebook.
Cool.
Facebook
Hi, everybody.
Live. Tell them what's up.
Hey, everybody. I see y'all. Thank y'all for joining us this morning. Make sure you tag and share. Hi, everybody. Hi, Dad. Hi, Wayman. Hi, Kurt. How y'all doing? Hi, Kendrick. Hi, Kathy. Hi, James. Hi, Delphina. Hi, Michael. Hi, Kenya. Good morning, everybody. Hi, Eric. Thank y'all for joining us. Make sure you spread the word. If you haven't logged on already, log on to Stop the Violence 409 and join our team.
I see Mayor Hawking. Good morning, Mayor.
Hey, Mayor. Good morning.
That's my friend right there. That's my guy.
That's my guy, too.
Yeah, I've known Mayor Hawking since I was, forever. I feel like probably I was like in junior high or something. Yeah, he's a good man.
He is, and very involved.
Mm-hmm.
Cares about everything. Very involved. He don't miss a beat.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I probably have to catch up with him because he be on it. So, Mayor Hawkins is amazing. We have a good mayor.
Yes.
We have a good city manager.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Mr.
Yeah.
Jackson.
Mr. Jackson, yeah. I'm just seeing everybody just, take the time out to care about things, even the small things that matter.
Yeah, I would city council in general, And,
we have a good city council.
And all of the different boards that we have that make up our great city. I mean, there's a lot of wonderful people that are very diligent in what they do. And so we just appreciate each and every one of them.
Another one that I really appreciate, I just love her to death. Colleen Mayer is amazing. She doesn't miss a beat. I don't even think she sleeps. She's amazing.
I'm gonna tell you what.
Steps on there.
Shout out to Geraldine Sam.
Miss Geraldine Sams be all
Yes.
on it. Hello.
Did she
And
just
Sam
had
Collins.
an event too, right?
Yes.
Geraldine Sams did. She had an exam. It was on Saturday from 10 a.m. to 12, and it was parents help the teacher. Parents help the kids be successful in school. Good turnout. She had different parents, and she had teachers and different organizations come in there and speak on it, and they were given the tools to help be successful in school. She did an amazing job with that.
Earlier you were touching on, the root of the issue, and then you see the violence is the fruit that comes, but it starts, and you got to attack it. Is the secret to start with the kids? Like start young with the kids, and then go from there? Is that?
It really starts when the parents.
Well,
Parents.
yes, definitely parenting. But if we can affect the kids, maybe they can go home and infect their homes with whatever they're learning there. But yes, we do want to work with the youth, but there's also adult that we want to work with the adults also, the women, the men, all ages. We are looking to help anyone with their need wherever they are in life. So come on, come off from 2 to 99. Let's go.
Yeah, everybody.
If you see a kid, and sometimes I feel like that, and I have to practice with this with myself, with getting with kids, and when you see them, when you go into the donut shops in the morning, you see them hanging out there, and just look at them. You see them. You have no idea how you can affect that child. Talking about, hey, good morning, how you doing? Oh, I need this. They're standing there. Stop and take our community one kid at a time. Talk to one kid at a time. You see them, you may not have time. Hey, what's going on? That may be your favorite spot that you go to every day and see that kid every day.
Yeah.
But that one connection, and it's just important how the way you make people feel.
Yeah, just be a positive.
Yeah, that's it.
Spread. Just saying
take the
hi.
time.
Anything.
Yeah, and just imagine like community-wise, if we do it all together as a community, that would be amazing.
Kind of
impact.
like the late great Tupac. I may not be the one to make the change, but we may spark the mind that's gonna make the change. And so that's just a quote. That's a Tupac quote, y'all.
Yeah. I like
That's the first time Tupac's been mentioned on KHEA radio. I'm pretty sure. And it was, yeah.
a positive one.
Couldn't have been soon enough. Thank you. Yeah. All right. So let's see. We got. We'll play one more song here on the FM, and we'll keep hanging out with Facebook, and then we'll go back on, and then maybe talk and share how people can get involved. You know, a lot of people have ideas. A lot of people, you know, maybe have not had the chance to hear about the organization, and they would be a great asset.
Absolutely.
So we're going to see how they can get involved in maybe some of the future things. Like that concert, that sounds like a great idea.
Oh, it's coming.
Maybe we can even brainstorm what else can we do.
Yeah.
You know, job fairs are cool.
Yeah.
Even like you know, concerts, there's all kinds of stuff.
Right.
Well, I tell you what, like I said, we're partnering with different other organizations, different ministries. So look for a move to be made in the streets. We will be. You will see the men make a move. You'll see the women make a move. There's so many aspects that's gonna go out in the community. Put it like this: you're gonna see us coming, and you're gonna see the difference that's being made.
Mm-hmm.
And so there will be available to all people to come out and help and participate. But you know, we're about action. We're not just about talking and formulating ideas, but we're about putting it together. You know, we're the type that'll pray about it and go get it.
Yeah.
That's a Drake quote, y'all.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Hey, so you mentioned some of the commissions earlier. I think that you're on the Keep Lamarck Beautiful.
Yes, I'm one of the city commissioners. Yes,
Yeah, that's cool.
absolutely. And
Right.
How good is one of the city commissioners?
That's
as
right.
well.
I'm on the Planning and Zoning Committee for Lamarck. For the
Okay.
city of Lamarck. Yes, yes.
Is
Shout out
it-
to the Planning and Zoning Committees,
Shout out to Keep Lamarck
board
Beautiful.
members.
Is Greg from Snow King? Is he on that one too?
Yes, he is.
Because they're doing the market on 3.
It's amazing. Have you been?
So I've been out to the spot where they do it, but I haven't been on one of the Saturdays yet. I know they
So I think
they canceled because it was wet this past weekend. I
Right.
think.
So I've been going out there a couple of times. I think I probably gained 10 pounds. 10 pounds in one day. I felt like it. I went and made each stop, and finally when I got to Greg, he was like, "You want some chili on that?" I'm like, "Yeah, go give me some chili."
Yeah, might as well.
You know, one of the things we was having a meeting, and we took a little break during our training class, and I went over to the Snow King, and I tried his brisket sandwich, and I'm hooked. My goodness, that is delicious.
We got a lot of great things going on here in Lamarck. You know, they talk about violence, but we got some great things going on. We got downtown Lamarck coming. The market on 3. I can't wait. Like during the holiday time, it's just going to be jam packed over there with all kind of neat things to buy.
Yeah.
You know, they have everything from weight loss to food to coffee.
You need the weight loss with all the food.
Yeah, yeah.
Even it
Oh,
out.
and funnel cakes. The funnel cakes are the bomb.
Oh,
over
Lordy.
there. Yeah.
Weakness.
It's there.
Have y'all had the beef jerky from Snow King?
Yes.
Okay.
My daughter's hooked on it.
I am too. It's good.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, have y'all had the spicy beef jerky from Snow King?
Not the spicy one.
But
Yeah.
I will.
If you like spicy, it's like almost too spicy. No joke. Yeah.
she's
I've eaten it, but like I like the normal one. But it's good to have like
Well, you
a
know,
little
it's
both.
spicy not good unless your forehead's beating up and your nose running. That's
It's gonna be, and then you're gonna have to get the snow cone to
Right.
kind of cool it off right after.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's my dad watching on Facebook. He said, "Hey, I keep hearing Snow King has great brisket. Go check them out. They live right down the street."
yeah. Go check them out.
So one thing I like to do, I want to encourage everybody in the community. Sometimes if you just take a little bit of time out your schedule, you can make a difference. I know that we're all busy in the community, but it takes each and every one of us. It is easy to be able to join our group, log on to Stop the Violence 409 and hit like. When you join our group, you can message us and one of our team will get back with you, your name, your phone number, what city you're from. Some people have came from different cities to come over, even pastors from other cities to come over, and that's pretty amazing. We want anybody and everybody. Everybody is welcome because together we can stop the violence.
Mm-hmm.
Amen. Amen.
I think one thing that we can do to kind of help our community is just support. You
Yeah.
know, you always see it's easy to be competitive. Like, hey, if, you know, you see like, hey, Greg's, you know, has snow cones, Snow King, he sells brisket sandwiches, you know, and our good friends at the pit stop, they sell brisket too.
Right.
But you know what? The more the more that we kind of support these local places, the more they'll be able to employ,
Right.
the more jobs that'll happen.
Well,
You know, you are a local business owner too.
Right. I own small events in Lamarck.
Yeah, so if people
Right.
go and use, you know, your venue, your facility, the more you'll be able to, you know,
I
maybe
push them over.
expand.
I only hold 50
Right.
people. But whenever I don't hold 50 people, and then I take the time out to let them know, hey, go visit this person. Yares holds 100 people.
Yeah.
We're in one community, one goal. One community, one goal.
Yeah, so it's kind of feeding back into our
Absolutely.
local economy.
Absolutely.
And then that creates more jobs, more opportunity. It
Right.
sparks people's creativity to maybe have a business that we don't have yet.
Right.
Right.
And that's one thing I think Lamar can hold. You know, there's a lot of growth and development on this side, and I think that the city and Colleen and, you know, the mayor and city council is doing a great job to kind of do that, what they're calling that the downtown.
And one more person that does a really good job that I like to commend, Nikesha Paul does a great job too.
Shout out Nikesha Paul.
Shout out
Whoop,
Nikesha
whoop.
Paul. With everyone connected together, just seeing everybody energized. I mean, I seen people pouring in the doors yesterday. Hey, what's next? What's this and that?
Yeah.
You know, Chris Lane, I appreciate him getting out there, getting involved. Hey, what's next? What can we do? And shout out to our football coaches and little league organizations. They've been busy. They have their hands full, and like some of
And
them.
all the teachers.
Oh yeah, the teachers. You know,
Thank you, teachers.
seeing the teachers come out. So thank you to the community. We have some work to do, community. We're gonna be honest with you. We got some work to do, but it has already started, and we encourage everybody to join us, be part of it, message us. Hey, what can we do? We will pull you right along with us, and we can jump on board and knock this out together.
Yeah.
You know, I have to do this because if I don't, I'm probably going to get harassed real well. I'm the vice president of 1867 Settlement here in West Tech City in the historical district. So shout out to 1867, and also to My Brother's Keeper. Hello, gentlemen. How y'all doing? And all these different other organizations that have come along. We appreciate you so much. Just be on the lookout. Great things coming in the community. So we ready. We
Right.
ready.
What is My Brother's Keeper?
So My Brother's Keeper is an organization that partnered with us since day one. Roderick Dozier and Kendra Dozier. They are amazing. My Brother's Keeper started with Roderick, with him losing his brother. It's a ministry, an organization, but you don't have to be part of their church or their ministry. You can just join the organization. They help mentor our young men, young adult that's struggling, that needs help, that needs guidance. They're mentors. That organization has partnered with us at Stop the Violence 409, and they go out on the street and recruit and talk to people, help mentor them, and help them get back on track.
Awesome. Cool. So we got here in about a minute, we'll switch it back over to the FM as well and keep chatting about everything. You know, that weather, that rain that came in this past week was nuts.
It was.
And like, I mean, I kept seeing people go live from Galveston, and I mean, we're fortunate that we got rain.
I was
you know,
in
here.
Galveston.
You were in Galveston
Yes.
for that?
Me too.
Yes, I was in
y'all
Galveston.
get
at the
stuck?
time. So the Weather Channel, thank you. Two great apps, like the Weather Channel and Waze. Those two apps are
Oh, how to get around? Yeah.
yes.
Ways.
So the Weather Channel can predict and tell you, okay, it's getting ready to get bad, and it has an estimated wrong time. I said, Lord help me, I'm finna go off at this time. So I look at it, followed it. I said, oh, it looked like it's finna get bad at noon. I better leave at 10:50. I left at 10:50. Ran into it just a little bit. I got a call at noon. It was terrible down there.
Yeah.
And where I was after that, it was just water everywhere. Waze is an app that when people see things on the road, they report it. Police, something in the road, accident, flooding water here. Following Waze, hey, be careful.
It'll
flooding
route you
water.
around, yeah.
Yes, it's two apps. So I encourage everybody, if you want to know what's going on in front of you, then you need to get the Waze, W-A-Z-E. If you want to know what's going on with the weather, to predict, the radar to tell you exactly what's getting ready to get, the Weather Channel is the blue one. It will help you out.
Yeah.
You know, something that I know that we probably haven't thought about, but, you know, shout out to the people that spray for the mosquitoes. I haven't had no bugs biting me yet this season.
That's true.
freak
I
that
haven't
on.
either.
Yeah, so, you know, hey, y'all doing a good job. Keep on spraying. Whatever you're doing, it's working.
Yeah, that's awesome. Hey, for that Waze app, I'll use it at times, and like sometimes going south on I-45 and there's, the dog track and Walmart.
Yeah.
I always slow down when I go over that hoop. Not that I ever speed in my life one
Yes.
time, of course, throwing this out there. But I always slow down anyways, but I
Right.
always see on there, it's like, hey, there's maybe a police officer.
Yes, yes, and the citizens report that. They just stop. And I'm like, you know what? I need to help out because whoever's just stopped and took this second and reported, hey, there's a tire in the road.
Yeah,
And I
watch
was
out.
going, watch out, tire in the
Swerve.
road. And I look, oh, there it is right there. So
Yeah.
you just drive with it. Yeah.
But that's why it's important to meet your local police officers anyway, because if you do get speed, maybe they'll just give you like, hey, slow down.
I love how at our last event,
pat on the back, slow down.
right? They got involved. Our police chief, he was there, and then I seen him out there. Him and some kids were playing frisbee, and then we have the Lamarck Police Academy that was out there, and people didn't know. Like, hey, I didn't know that we can be there. Yes, you can join the Lamarck Police Academy,
the
the
city-
Citizens Police.
The Citizens Alumni, great group. I tell you what, one thing about our police chief is that I see him showing up at all of the
Everything.
different community events. He's come in, he's speaking, he's doing great public relations. He's very approachable, and he's a people person. So I really appreciate our police chief for all
He
the
cares.
efforts that he's given. I
He
mean,
cares.
our city, we got some great leaders in our city,
do.
and I'm gonna tell you what, if you see them out, just tell them hello, give them a handshake, tell them you appreciate them because they are actually looking out for our citizens and really want to develop a relationship with us. I mean,
They're dialed in.
with all people.
Yeah.
So it's great, man. You got to, whenever you see one of them, just tell them hello. They'll stop and talk to you, and before you know it, you'll feel like old friends.
Yeah, well, I think the first time, or maybe the second time, that I had met the chief of police here in Lamarck, he was in street clothes, and you never would have.
You would've
He's just
known.
cool, like, hey, how's it going? No, nice to meet you, or whatever,
Right.
and very, personable, not coming out like he's in charge of everything, because it kind of, is when it comes to that. But a great guy.
Yeah. He listens and everything, and so
Right.
he takes suggestions, and also he's really working hard to develop the police department and community relations. So
Right.
And that's important. Here we go. I'm gonna swing it back on the FM. Good morning. It's KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. Right now it's 9:45 a.m. on a Monday, and we are talking to the Stop the Violence 409 group right here out of Lamarck, Texas, and we're learning different ways that we can all get involved and make a difference to make our community better.
Right.
So, Tracy, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Good. Wayne and Kenny, how you guys doing this morning?
blessed.
Doing all right, doing great.
Good. Hey, Kenny, who are some local artists here that need a shout out that are doing some cool things here in Lamarck and maybe even greater
I
areas?
say myself.
Of course.
Come on, Kenny, there you go.
I do a lot for the community, so y'all check me out. YouTube, Instagram. Just Google me.
Yeah.
One thing Kenny's doing, he got a movie that
Two
he's
movies.
that he's
Right.
done.
Okay.
So he look out for help. Too. Go ahead, promote yourself.
So I just recently dropped the first Help, which was in April. So now I finished my second one, which is Help 2, and I'm premiering that in November 30th, which will be at small events.
Okay, cool. What is it about?
So it's about different social issues that's going on in the community. I don't really want to spoil it, but
Right.
it's about social issues that's going on in the community. So from domestic violence to anything that got something to do with social issues is in it. From social network to bullying, harassment, all that. So it's in there.
So you're making a difference, with your movies as well, spreading a message.
Right. So yeah, it's all, at the end of the day, it's all about having a positive message, ending it off with a positive note.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm all for.
Me and intern Ethan were talking about movie trailers earlier and how sometimes you'll see a trailer and it tells the whole movie. It's like, well, I don't even go see the movie
Right,
now.
right.
Yes, my
Yeah,
son, he's 8.
yeah.
He look at the trailers. Like, when I ask him to go to movies, because he doesn't like any horror movies or anything. I've seen the trailer on there. We can't watch it. It's not kid friendly. What? And he watches the trailers.
Man, so how did you even go about tackling to make a movie? What kind of inspired you, in life to be like, hey, I'm gonna make a movie.
Well,
I
I
can do
always
that.
been into film. I love movies. So just me being a musician, I always had that creativity to me. So one day I just decided, man, I want to do a movie. Some of the issues, I felt like it was a lot to put in music. So I felt like me doing a movie, I would be able to shed a light on, these situations a little better.
Yeah.
So,
Did it start with music videos first and then kind of go into that?
it started with music videos because I do my own videos as well. So I just decided to, take it up a notch and, see what the movies would be like.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so now you already got the second movie.
Yeah.
Is it completely finished or getting there?
Well, the editing part is not finished, but as far as the filming, like the shooting, like that's done. We finished that last month, so the editing should be done. I say in another week. So,
Awesome.
Yeah.
It's a professional movie. I encourage anybody to go see it. It's about an hour-long movie.
Yeah.
When I first seen it, I'm like, that looks pretty good. Let me check this out. Let me see it. But I start hearing about his movie, and he's quiet, he's mild-mannered, and he's just low-key. And seeing this movie, like, this guy is great.
Yeah.
He make movies and good movies, and he have good actors, and he has a message, and he delivers well, and the quality is good. And
Cool.
I'm like, man, this guy here.
Lamarck's own, support our local talent here in the area.
Hey.
We were talking a little bit earlier about how people can be competitive. Have you had to deal with any of that? Like people like watching what you're doing and
Oh yeah, every day.
how do you handle that?
I mean, you just gotta persevere. You gotta stay focused on the main goal. When you stay focused on that goal, everything else you'll be blind.
It's just
everything
noise.
that's going. Yeah, it's just
Yeah, zone it out and keep going because there's been times where if I'm doing something and I in the back of my head, but you kind of got to just put it away and be like, people are probably wondering, oh, what does he think he's doing? He's doing that.
Yeah.
Can't do that, or but there's always, and then even the little voice in the back of my own head.
Yeah, same.
as
same.
well.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Doubting yourself, and you got to be confident and be like, I know what I bring to the table, and let's go.
Right.
It's going to be some positivity spread at the end of the day. So that's awesome. So we got about 5 minutes or so, and can we talk and remind everybody how they can get involved again, and maybe when the next event is, or where they can go find you guys on social media.
All right, so 2 things before we close out. I want to invite everybody on November 2nd to meet us at City Hall. November 2nd is an important day because we'll be doing a citywide cleanup. Keep Lamarck Beautiful Commission, our commission, will be cleaning up the city. We asking for volunteers and anybody to come out there. So we want everybody, bring your kids, bring your families. Don't even have to be from the city to come out and be part of this amazing cleanup for our city.
Do they do one in the fall and one in the spring? Is that how that
It's
goes?
our fall cleanup,
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's
And
our
then
fall cleanup.
everybody's invited.
Everybody, and we need you. And we'll ask one more thing, too. I know sometimes people might be in a hurry and there may not be a trash can on the side of you. But please, if you see something, even if you didn't put it down, don't pass it up. Pick it up. Please, let's be friendly with our environment and get everything cleaned up. Another thing to touch on is how to join our organization. You may not have a lot of time, but you might have a little time, and a little time will make a difference. Log on to Stop the Violence 409 on Facebook, hit like, and then message us and let us know that you want to be involved, and we will gladly bring you in our organization and help make a difference.
All right. Hey, Wayne, is there anything else you'd like to share? I just like when you talk, or maybe drop a quote or two.
Well, basically, I feel like that I'm in the midst of doing this, helping with the spiritual aspects of things. I am a member here at Abundant Life, and also I am a citizen in this community. And I just look at things from a spiritual perspective. And so I just want to allow the Lord to use me in whatever way He sees fit. And I'm excited about what God is doing and what He's going to continue to do. And it's a mighty move taking place. And it's just a few of us. It's a remnant right now. And I believe that God uses a remnant to start things. Mm-hmm. And so we are rebuilding, reestablishing, and we're going to do great things. And guess what? God is going to get the glory. Yes. And because the thing about it is that, yes, all things, it started with prayer. And now God is answering that prayer through us, through people. And so I know that He's going to continue to do it and continue to move. And so, Lamarck, I'm looking forward to a great city. A city of unity, of love, and togetherness.
Something you said stuck out to me, like God will use you in whatever way He sees fit. There's a lot of times that I had a plan, or I thought it was what I wanted, and then my desire changed, or life changed. And if I looked 5 years ago and said hey, we'd be doing this, I never would have guessed it. Absolutely. And sometimes you can't out dream. Like, there's a bigger dream out there than you think. There's only so far I can go. But then it's like, hey, I'm dropping 2 movies, and we're going to be doing these local concerts, and it's going big. Let's go and be an example for the rest of the state, for other places. Don't limit yourself, because there's a vision out there that's going to be reality. It's way bigger than anything you could ever dream up, and that's how this has to be God. because I can't do it
You
myself.
know, one of the things that you said important is that your desire changed, and the scripture says, "Delight ourselves in the Lord, and He will give us the desires of our heart." Well, what the thing about it, that's a twofold thing, that He will place the desire in you, and then fulfill that desire. So we serve an awesome God.
Yeah, we do.
So those things that we think we want, when we delight ourselves in Him, He puts in us what He wants us to do.
Yeah.
And so we serve an awesome God, and I'm excited to see what He's doing.
Right.
All right. Is there anything else I'd like to share?
So again, want to make sure that everybody log on. People are asking me how. You can message me when we get off here, and we'll make sure that we'll keep you up to date to what's going on each month. We'll have a monthly activity going on with Stop the Violence 409. We appreciate all your love, your support, and we'll see you around.
All right. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. Hey, Kenny, what's your last name?
Kenny Summers, the K-I-N-N-Y,
K-I-N-N-Y.
and then Summers.
I'm going to add you on Facebook. I want to check out all your stuff.
Got you. I got to delete somebody for you.
Oh, you got the 5K? Oh, man.
Yeah. He just deleted somebody for me. So I feel
Okay, I don't feel too bad then.
Just don't delete me, man.
I'll just.
Hey, that's
All
cool.
right. Don't feel no rush. I'm gonna be pending. Oh, I can't even send the request till. I got you. I was like, I don't mind being the
That's
pending
pretty person.
person.
Cool. I feel special.
I got-
Having the 5,000.
Hey, look, I just started Facebook today. So
Okay,
I
okay.
got like two people on there already. So
Add me, Garcia.
I don't know how to do it.
I added his 2 people.
Can you do it? Because I don't know. I'm not.
Here, I'll add myself.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Because I gotta read it and play with it because I haven't never done social media. So
Let's see. Gardy.
Tracy's is a great encourager.
Boom. Can I make you like KHEA Radio?
Man,
Yes.
make me love it.
All right, there we go.
Is-
And I
is-
would
is there-
invite your 2 friends, but they probably already do like KHEA.
That's right.
All right,
We're
here we
the
go.
biggest KHEA
Thank you.
radio fan.
Try it now. See if it's in.
Let's see.
Let me see.
Okay, sweet. I'm pending. So there we go.
All right, I just confirmed you.
And I
Somebody
got
got dropped.
Wayne. I accepted your request.
Awesome. I mean, you just don't know.
That's the best. That's funny. Like, I got to delete somebody. All right.
This the one you just created.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Sweet.
I don't think I have to do
Well, yeah, thank you guys. Hey, if y'all got something else going on, yeah, let me know. And I'm interested in checking out the movie
Oh, definitely.
and everything else.
I got you as a
Right,
friend
right.
now, so
Cool.
I
Gotta
can keep
see
you
it.
updated.
Hit me up.
All right, thank you for having us.
Thank you for having me.
Y'all are awesome. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Is the coffee good? Ethan, did you make that?
It's making me feel special.
All right, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Miss Joanne is awesome.
I'm gonna go by and thank her.
Thank you.
I'll see you guys. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
The taco.
It's October 12th. It's coming. It's the weekend before Bayou Fest. Our taco cook-off. Is that what you're mentioning? Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be there. We've been pushing it.
All right. Yeah. Keep pushing it out there. We're excited. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be fun. And that means you need to come. October 12th, the Taco Cook-Off happening here at KHEA Radio, happening at Abundant Life. I promise this is going to be an event that you do not want to miss. It's the first event like this that we have ever seen and heard of, and that's why we wanted to do it. If you go to talkoftaco.com, you'll be able to learn more information. Sign up your cook-off team. You'll be able to maybe even sponsor it. Here's the important thing that I need to stress, that it is free to attend. If you just want to come and be a participant, a viewer, a bystander, somebody who just like hollers and yells and just eats tacos, then it is free. Bring your family out, and you will have some good family-friendly fun and some delicious tacos. What's up, Chevy? Dude, it's been
What's
been
up,
too
brother?
long.
I know.
Wait, what you been up to,
I've
man?
been, just hanging out, cutting hair, taking pictures,
Okay,
talking
so
about wrestling. Are these on?
yeah, you should turn it up. Did you grab that one? Oh, this is the one for that one. So that'll help that volume. If you're watching on Facebook, share this out. I'm about to kind of walk through a little
we go.
story here that Chevy saved me from a pickle. Pretty much saved my life yesterday. I was in
I
a
like that.
predicament. And you stepped up, man.
Oh, thank you, brother. Thank you.
You stepped up. You helped me out. Not just me, my family. And not just my family, but like my family's heirloom memories that will be passed down.
I like how
generations.
deep this is getting. I like that.
It is. You know those wall of pictures?
Yeah.
Like, have you ever seen, like, my mom has one. It's
Oh,
like
yeah, for
first
sure.
grade, second grade, third grade, right?
Right. That's pretty organized for a
It
Hispanic
is.
lady. Most Hispanic ladies, it's like first grade and 10th grade in the same frame with the little picture in the corner. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
If you go to my grandma's house, there's like a wall in like a room, and it's just pictures of
that's
everybody.
exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah.
So my mom, whenever she may have taken it down. They like painted their house not too long ago, and maybe I'm like in the closet now. But it used to
That's
be,
funny.
the kindergarten all the way, and then the seniors in the middle. Pictures are a big deal, like school pictures, and I found that out. Obviously, whenever my kids got school age. So my son, he's 6 years old, and he
The tallest 6-year-old I've ever met in my life.
he is pretty tall. He's taller than
He's 6'2".
that's what they say he's gonna be. Like, you know how they do that, like,
Yeah.
oh, he'll be.
Where does the height come from in the family?
So, I guess that's from my granddad.
Okay.
Yeah, he's like my height. My
Well,
granddad.
you're not the shortest guy in the world. You're pretty tall. You're not. I don't look at you and go, "Oh, that guy should play basketball." But
Yeah,
you're tall. You're
but he
taller
should
than me.
not play basketball.
yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe he's a point guard.
Yeah, I could be a point guard
Yeah.
somewhere. Like, I'm Chris Paul's height, but Chris
Understand.
Paul's like not the biggest basketball player. But you hooked up my son. He got a haircut last night.
Yeah.
I called. I saw that you had made a post earlier before
Yeah.
I was at church saying, "Hey, I'm cutting hair. I got 7, 8, 9 o'clock. Hit me up. Let's go." And then I think you had some filled and
Yeah.
maybe had someone out the chair. So after church, we're rolling out.
Yeah.
And Jennifer, my wife, makes a comment and says, "Hey, man, I wish we would have got Kellen a haircut. Picture day is tomorrow. This is a big deal." And I called. You answered.
I answered. I was sweeping up the last hair in the shop. The shop was shutting down, so we had to bring him in at the end. Little.
And that was a lot of
Call it
hair.
in,
Got to cut out his little ducktail.
I know. I was a little sad about that, but he wanted it gone.
He did, and I wasn't going to make him
So,
keep it.
I'm pro little kid ducktails and mullets, by the way. Baby mullets are kind of my thing. I haven't cut one yet, but I just admire them from afar.
Yeah,
You know.
he had a little bit of a mullet whenever he was a baby, but that's where his hair. And we talked about
Yeah.
this, but his hair just grew in the
And you
back,
can see that. Yeah.
and that was it.
where does he get that from?
I have no idea.
Does your hair do that in the back?
No.
Or no? It's weird because sometimes I will cut hair of fathers and sons, and the imperfections of hairlines in the back, the son will have the exact same spots as the father, and I think that's super interesting. Genetics and whatnot. So,
Yeah, science. I don't get it.
yeah, I don't either. I don't have answers. I haven't. Is that you? Oh,
There's a picture of Ethan when he was a
intern
baby.
Ethan, show the camera. That's good.
MulletJunkie.com. This picture was sourced from
I like that.
MulletJunkie.com.
I like that.
Oh,
That's
man.
actually a site I run. No, I'm just kidding. I don't. Shout out to mulletjunkie.com. Maybe you get them as a sponsor.
That would be nice.
Right.
We need that. Hey, so speaking of sponsors, you have a podcast and you have some sponsors there.
I do.
I know Anthony is one of them. Macaluso.
Yeah, Anthony Macaluso. He does Anthony Macaluso Realty, and Rockin' Rivers Bounce House and Party Rental is blowing up, baby.
Dude.
It's hot. So
I saw some of the bounce houses that y'all had at 3 acres the other day.
yes,
Those don't look like bounce houses anymore. It's like it
No,
turns
no.
into like
it was like a rocket
playhouse.
ship. Yeah. The coolest one that I've seen, I haven't seen it in its full form. I've seen it up, but I haven't seen people in it. He has a gauntlet, right? So it blows up like imagine like a UFC cage with a lid on it, right?
Yeah.
And it has 4 stands inside it. And in between those 4 stands, there's just like a wrecking ball that hangs. And I guess the purpose is you get on the stand and last man standing
Push
is
it
the
at each other?
ultimate. Well, yeah, you just throw the wrecking ball at each other. So it's like joust, but with 4 people and a wrecking ball instead
Yes.
of sticks. So that one's super exciting, I should say. So I just helped him. We didn't know what it was. We were just I help Anthony blow up these things sometimes and clean them, these jumpers, and we pulled this giant. We could barely move it out of a warehouse, and we blew it up, and it was in pristine condition already, so barely had to be cleaned. And when it blew up, we were just like staring at it, like like when the lion comes in Aladdin movies, the
Yeah.
sand lion. We're just looking up at this thing, and it was pretty rock and roll. So
That's awesome.
I like that. Yeah. Beyond Burger, we also stepped in, Chop to the Chest Radio. The Love Letter to Local Wrestling has Beyond Burger kind of sponsoring us.
Awesome.
And, they let us record there from time to time. So we go. I don't say live because we just record inside Beyond Burger. I like the ambiance of people just hanging out, get to feed wrestlers, and they get all hype. And then, of course, Reality of Wrestling totally sponsors us. They let us record there as well. And that's the majority of our listeners to Chop to the Chest Radio. Of our guests, I should say, come out of Reality of Wrestling. We're going to start branching out, and we know Undisputed Pro Wrestling is here locally, and that's our vibe, man. There's hundreds of wrestling podcasts all over the country, and they're all covering WWE and NXT and AEW, and we just really want to, like we said, be a love letter to local wrestling. And man, we're just really passionate about these dudes and what they do and their dreams and their storytelling abilities. And we always find out that wrestlers are a little off the mark. There's something a little quirky about them, and I find them very interesting. And so to hear their stories, to hear what they used to do, we just interviewed Will All Day is actually out right now, the podcast on Chop to the Chest Radio. You can find it at bmovies and ebooks.com. But man, he was at Rice. I mean, he was set like on a to be a doctor or some sorts, and you know, he went in the business world and was, like I always say, from the cubicle to the squared circle, man. He was doing that and just gave it all up, just quit all that to follow his dream of wrestling, man. And he's only been in it like a year and a half, and he's already wrestled near 100 matches, which is insane your first year. Like most guys after a year are just now setting foot into the ring in this guy's first year. And so just to hear those crazy stories of like, you don't meet too many people of, I mean, they call, you know, Rice like the Harvard of the South or whatever, you know, with that, and go, you know what? I think I want to get into professional wrestling, you know. So just it's crazy, man. Wrestling's a crazy business, and all kind of walks of life and people, and it's just interesting to see them all mesh together for what they love to do. And so I just interview people, man. That's kind of my deal. I just like to hear the conversations and hear the stories and hear the heartbeats of people. And so that's what Chop the Chest is about. We say, hey, you know, where do you go and where do you dream? How'd you get started? You know?
Yeah.
So,
Will's awesome.
Yeah.
Will's cool. You know, he played football at Rice, and so I asked him, what was the biggest moment, you know, in your football career, and did that kind of get you ready for, because the first time I ever talked to him was after he wrestled as James Harden for, you know, the WWE, which was crazy. And he said he went and played at Austin against the University of Texas, you know, tens of thousands of people there in the stadium, and it was kind of like a surreal. That was like his biggest aha. And then, you know, WWE asked him, hey, you nervous? He's like, I'm ready. No, I'm ready for this. I'm
been there.
And that's his goal. That's his goal. He's like, dude, I'm WWE, like, or bust. Like, that's what I'm doing. That's
like,
that's
I'm gonna make
the
it.
vision, the goal.
Yeah.
He will. I think he will.
I think he's good. Yeah. I mean, we always say he's one of the most electrifying athletes we've seen. Just so young in his career is what really impresses me. Like I said, just he steps into a room and you just know, you can feel the confidence in him. You know, and to get into a ring with somebody, for somebody to have that much confidence, like there's a trust there. So you don't. You're like, man, this guy's not going to hurt me, or you know, I can trust him with, you know what I'm saying, with what I'm going to do. And if somebody's like kind of, I don't know, you're like, I don't
know what I'm doing.
I don't know if I want this guy to pick me up and slam me on my face. You know what I'm saying? So, intern Ethan, what do you think? You
want to get slammed on your face?
Yeah.
Like, hey, we're going to go ahead and switch it on to the FM here.
Okay.
Here we go. Good morning. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. Right now it's 10:05 a.m. on a Monday. TGIM. I'm excited. Hey, we were talking about Stop the Violence 409. If you want to get involved, you just search that on Facebook, and you can get involved whenever it comes to, making a difference in our community. It takes me, it takes you, it takes everybody just making one little change, making a difference.
That's who was here before me.
Yeah. Tracy. Have you met Tracy?
I just met her, but I know Kenny Summers. That Kenny there. Yeah. Hip-hop extraordinaire.
Yeah, he
Kenny
just
Summers.
released a movie, and the second one is already done filming, and
Really?
it's supposed to release as well.
There's a gentleman calls himself Young Beast.
Okay.
Who's a really good friend of mine, and I actually cut his hair, and he's bros with him. They're in the same little,
same
label,
group.
the same label. Yes. So
that's cool.
Supreme Vision, I believe it's called.
Okay. All right. So if you have not had the opportunity to meet Chevy, that's who we are chatting with right now.
Yeah, man, I'm just hanging out.
And Chevy, you know everybody. Like, I didn't know that you would know one person in this group. That's why I was like, hey, have you met Tracy? You're like, no, but.
Yeah. I don't say everybody. I meet people every day, but that's the thing. It keeps growing, you know? So I'll intern Ethan over here, I know this guy. He's rock and roll, man. I think I'm pretty sure he makes the show.
I'm not sure that I make the show, but I definitely make the camera shots happen.
I like that. It'd be nothing without you, Ethan. Don't.
That is true. No, and I feel like I give you that encouragement, right? And appreciation.
I appreciate your appreciation.
This is good. I like the appreciation all going around this appreciation room.
I appreciate all the appreciation that you're appreciating.
It's good.
Hey, so if you are watching on Facebook, feel free to share this out. Jessica, what's up? Good morning. She said Chevy with exclamation points.
What up? Jessica who? What's the last name?
You know what? Barajas.
Oh, okay. Hey. How goes it?
Yeah. Where are you watching from, Jessica? If you are watching on your Facebook stream, which you are, let me know where you're watching from. Appreciate you taking the time. This is 99.5 FM, KHEAradio.com. We are going to be on. We may cut it off a little bit earlier than 11 unless we just go all the way till like 11 p.m. at night, which is totally possible.
Yeah. We're just hanging out. You're talking. Yeah. What are we talking about today, Gardy? What's the big subject in the...
So far, the big subject has been how you saved me from my dilemma and my pickle.
Right.
And I'm just wondering...
So the big question, and we didn't talk about this in the FM, but you go ahead. You set it up.
Well, so my appreciation is, as Ethan has kind of set up, I'm very appreciative. So, okay, so my son Kellen, he's 6 years old. He has picture day today, and I hope he already took the photos because I fixed his hair this morning, and it looks good when I send him off to school.
I hear you.
Sometimes they wait a little too long.
Right.
And it's like lunchtime,
stains on the shirt,
recess, gym, and then it is like, what? Why? I almost messaged the school and the teacher and be like, it's first thing in the morning, right? Like walk in, take his photo,
right,
and then like send him on his way. My wife said she stayed up extra late doing an extra load of his laundry to make sure he had the black shirt just in case it's after lunch. Because
he has an outfit change. That's cool.
Send multiple shirts,
right?
Please, just like take a photo. Which he wore a black shirt last year for his picture as well, but it's fine. But, you can't see most of the messes. So you hooked him up. His hair was looking okay, but it can always look better. That's what I told Ethan. I was like, everybody can always get a haircut.
Right.
It just makes you look a little bit better.
And there wasn't a whole lot, just a little shape up, little trim. The big thing was that he lost the ducktail.
He had a ducktail.
On his own accord. He had the ducktail, and he wanted it gone. And you liked it, and he liked it, but the big question, what did Mom think?
Yeah, they loved it. Yeah,
because that's the big thing. At the end of the day, Dad's like whatever, but Mom's the one that usually calls those shots. Same thing in family photography and pictures. Dad's like whatever. And moms are the ones that.
You were asking me about his ducktail. Like, is that something? Like, are you okay with coming? Like, yeah, because he had kind of liked it, and I wasn't forcing him to have it. Were you picking up that vibe?
Yeah. Oh yeah. He was. You're gonna have a cool haircut. I want you trendy, and he's like, oh, I just want a high and tight John Cena haircut.
The other thing that, and you would ask me when he sat down, you're like, hey, do you like taper it up or anything?
Yeah.
Because the way that it grows in the back, my wife is like, well, I washed his hair, but that's just the way it is because it's weird because at the bottom of his hairline, it grows like this, and then it starts growing out, and then it goes down into a thing. And I was like, oh, well, next time we'll just take them, and they'll just maybe do like a 1 or like even like a 0 and like taper it in and leave. I don't know.
And
you know what I'm talking about.
Kids' hair is different too. Like if you're out there and you're cutting or you're just learning to cut, like it doesn't have the same texture as adult hair. I guess they have to grow into it or whatever. So some of the things you do on adult heads, you try on kids' heads, and it doesn't quite. You have to kind of adjust a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And especially with those weird hair. I guess the skull grows out and the hairline kind of changes a little bit. But I see a lot of that in little kids. It's hard to get that taper in the back sometimes because their skull isn't there, and they have those two like cords on the back of your neck that are really like
it's way high.
Yeah. You got to get in there. So
yeah.
I've seen that.
So you've been in barber college. You've been rocking it out.
Yeah, I'm almost. I think in about a week I'll have all my hours.
Dude, that's nuts.
To get out.
Hey, time flies, huh?
Time flies, man. And so I just got to pass some tests, and then, we'll be.
Have you been studying?
Rocking and rolling. I have. A lot of it. Has nothing to do with cutting hair.
I know. So what's it about? Just like safety and like
safety,
health stuff?
health stuff, sanitary stuff. You learn a lot about just. Oddly enough, like staph infection, things like that. You do have to learn a little Cosmo, learn to curl hair with little curlers, and things like that. A little bit of color, it's not a big giant part of it, but a lot of it's a shave, man. Just the order of shaving, and how to do it properly with razor blades. So I think that's what really separates barbers from cosmetologists is that razor.
Chevy, when you were growing up, what did you want to be? I can imagine. I've met a couple people that knew you whenever you were young, like in school, y'all grew up together. And I ask them as many questions as I can because you are involved in everything. And I will say that you do a lot of cool stuff.
One of these days I'm going to find something I'm really good at and I don't have to do so much. When I was super little, and it's funny that I'm doing what I do now, I remember being a little kid and I wanted to be a professional wrestler. Like just walking around the house in my underwear. If somebody was asleep on the couch, they were getting an elbow drop. You know what I'm saying? This is 4 or 5 years old, so I remember I had my whole storylines planned out and names and all that jazz. Then for a long time, I wanted to be a writer, and I used to write when I was a kid. And I wasn't the best in school, so I was in GT classes until I figured out, like, whoa, I don't have to work so hard and I can still pass these classes, and so you figure that out. But when it came to writing and stories, I always kind of excelled, and I'd win, like, awards and medals and stuff. So, and I just hadn't jumped in that. I have a few stories that I'm working on for like children's books, you know,
Mhm.
and just looking for illustrators and things like that. So, you know, that was like dreams when I was a kid. You know, everybody's going to be an artist, want to be a writer, and then you know, I just went in the grind, and there was times, man, I have done everything. I worked at Guitar Center because I was in bands and stuff, playing music. So it's like, oh, of course, I'm going to go sell instruments, you know, and then
How was that
I've waited
experience?
tables. It was a long time ago, and I really liked it. And honestly, I was kind of young. I don't think I was mature enough to appreciate what I had in front of me, and so I was a bit rebellious, which is something I had to grow and mature into. So I had a manager that we didn't quite get along, so he'd tell me to do stuff, and I'd be like, you know, like
You're not the boss of me,
but you are the boss of me. And so, but at the same time, like I was selling accessories, and I think there's guys there you're just not going to beat out. Shout out to Phil at Guitar Center if he's still there. You know Phil,
Long hair?
Long hair, Phil. Yeah,
he's
man,
there.
that dude's rock and roll. Like I love that dude.
Maybe
He's
I'll
been
go
there.
see him today.
Yeah, you should. You should. And you know, so there was no way I was beating Phil in numbers ever. You know, and so I. But in my first few months, I was up to like the top 3 salesmen, stuff like that.
Yeah,
so
me
it was super
growing up,
cool.
I always wanted to work at Guitar Center because being a musician, that's like the grail. Like it's like, oh man, they have everything here, and I can be around all the time and play
and
for fun and sell.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it used to be
I would've
way
been
cooler
bad.
than it is now, from what I hear, as far as discounts go and stuff like that.
Man, as far
So.
as the stuff that's there, like I went the other day. Man, it's tough. You know, and shout out to, you know, online sales, and
Yeah.
it's easier. But there's something about picking up a piece of
Right.
of an instrument, picking up a guitar and holding it and being like, this is the one, or this isn't
Right.
the one. But there's a lot of stuff that isn't there.
Yeah.
And they built some other Guitar Centers around, and you can maybe drive to the one, you know,
Yeah,
you used to.
and that's the thing too with online sales, man. If you're picky and you're like, oh, I want this color
Right.
or whatever, and they have the guitar you want, but it's not the same color, you're like, don't want to spend all this money and not get exactly what I want.
Right.
And so they're like, hey, we can order you one. It'll be here in 3-4 weeks. When you're like, man, Amazon will get it here in, you know what I'm saying, 2 days. So.
Yeah, I got Amazon Prime, and I'm gonna get it here, like, you know, for free,
Right.
or whatever.
Right.
So,
So there's pros and cons to everything, but I'm with you. I'm old school in that sense, where it's like I like the touch. I like to go into a store and walk out with it and not have to wait. You know.
yeah.
I feel that way, and then in my old age, you know, life is so chaotic that sometimes I forget I order stuff, and then it just shows up, and I'm like, oh, there it is. You know. So, like I said, it's a balance. There's pros and cons. I want to be old school, but I think I've definitely fallen into the Amazon market. You know.
Cool. So with you wanting to be, you know, a writer, and you still have a little bit of that bug, why children's books?
I think there's something I just love imagination, man. I love to see even people not lose that just creativity. And for me, I think that's what it is. I mean, this wasn't a plug for my children's books because it's not even totally finished yet, but just something I do. I guess you never knew that, and we just never talked about it. But I think like Where the Wild Things Are was just I just love that whole idea of this kid, the suit, just gets lost in this world. And I guess when I was a kid, and it all goes back to kind of everything I do kind of comes from this idea of just creating a world around you with creativity, with imagination, and even I think that's what I love so much about wrestling, and that's why we do what we do, because it is like these actors stepping in this play and creating this energy and creating the story and making this crowd just totally fall in love with what they're doing. And if you can, as wrestlers, if you can and let them just kind of forget about all the stigmas that come with, oh, this ain't real, or this is, that guy let him do that, and you're so good in the ring that people forget about it, and they're just like backing you.
Yeah.
I think that's super creative, and that kind of goes along with that idea of just sparking imagination, you know, seeing little kids look, because I feel like wrestling's the closest thing we really get to real life superheroes. You know what I'm saying? These guys come out in these crazy costumes, and they're flying off the top rope, and they're over the top personalities, you know, so these little kids just spark. And for me, man, you know, that's something I never want to take away from my kids. I like them to dream, and I like them to be creative, and I like them to have, imagination and create something, which I think is the hardest thing in the world. Is taking nothing and making something, music, art, stories, whatever, you know. And so I never push anything on them, whatever they want to do. I'm just like, hey, rock and roll. I have 4 kids, so some of them are 6, so that's just where they live in that imaginary world, you know. I have a set of twins that are 6 that are way shorter than your 6-year-old, and you know, but the other ones, man, I just really, you know, I encourage them to to look when they watch movies, not just watch them, but pay attention to the camera shots. I know that's weird, but like, hey, did you see the way they did that? And, just later on, you never know. They could put a camera in their hand and start creating movies and things like Mr. Kenny Summers. You know what I'm saying?
Have they sparked an interest in any of that specific stuff that you do, or what are they kind of wanting to be?
Yeah, man, they really like. I mean, they like comics and stuff, so that's
cool.
the same deal. I don't think they have like a goal set, like, hey, I want to be this.
Right.
I'm pretty sure they've been like, oh, I want to be whatever, and they're when the school makes them write whatever.
Firefighter,
but
police officer, teacher,
yeah, exactly.
astronaut,
So
president.
They totally, they see me, and they've had a camera in their face since they were babies. So I know they have an interest in like filming and doing fun stuff. And I think with the YouTube craze, everybody, I want to be YouTubers. But
my son's told me that before, and I'm like, I can help you, but you're gonna have to listen to me just a little bit.
Right?
You're like, do this.
You're like, I want my production credit. I want my production credit.
You would give me no shout outs.
Yeah. And so, man, look at that little kid. What's his name? Ryan.
My daughter watches Ryan. She's 2. Yeah, Ryan.
I can't even say his name without disgust. Ryan.
He's on toy. He has his own show, and then he's on toy. Like you can walk down the toy aisle.
line. I know.
Yeah.
That's insane. Shout out to those parents.
It's really
for
cool.
Great marketing. Yeah.
Yeah, they did it, and I didn't even know that was a thing.
And who's the
It's
other one?
possible.
There's a girl with the big bows.
Is she older?
Yeah. Blonde.
JoJo?
Yes, she just had a concert recently.
Siwa?
I saw it was so funny because I have a cousin who's like he's into hot rods. And it's my wife's cousin actually just tatted all the way down, slick back, kind of like if he was in a Mexican biker gangs, he would be in the Mayans, you know what I'm saying? Like that kind of vibe. And his car club is called Los Muertos, you know what I'm saying? And then like I see shots of him on Facebook like going to the JoJo concert all in pink. His daughter has a big bow on, like he's just like, I'm at this concert, bro, you know what I'm saying? So it made me laugh that.
That's being a dad.
That's totally being dad. Like he had like a pink shirt on. It said something about JoJo on it. The mom, they were matching outfits,
Yeah.
So that made me totally laugh. Things you do for your kids, right? And so for me, man, that's what I really try to keep that imagination rocking and rolling in them. Just to never grow up like, I never get tired of reading them like Where the Wild Things Are. And I'm, it's been 30 something years since the first time I read it. You know what I'm saying? And so it's still like.
Yeah, with that book,
Very
obviously, the story is awesome. But one of the things I think that drew me towards it, and maybe a lot of people, is the art. And you referenced that earlier, saying like, hey, trying to find the right illustrator, the artist. Is that a big part of that as well? I mean, a lot of people are visual as well,
Yeah, man, I've talked to a couple guys. Yeah, for sure. Because and again, I'm crazy, right? So I'm thinking like I'm gonna write this book, and then I gotta think about. And most people probably just, hey, I gotta write this book and get it out there. But I'm like, okay, let me think about merchandising. Can this be turned into toys? Can this be turned into plushies? Can somebody make a cartoon out of this? You know what I'm saying? And so I really just need to sit down. I've been messing around, with this children's idea for years, kind of refining the story and just making sure. And it's always kind of been on the back burner. But I told myself by the end of next year, I really want to get something rocking and rolling. I really want to, and it's kind of a personal, like, hey, let me get this done. And it always seems to, like, I get something going. One time I had the whole thing written, and then I think I had, like, a hard drive crash or something, and I lost, like, this whole story. But, I mean, I had to rewrite it and stuff like that. And there was a while where I waited so long, and I'll tell you this, I had this whole story I had, like, 2 or 3 children's books. And so this is for people out there listening, and you have a dream and you keep putting it on the back burner. Let me tell you this. I wrote an entire story about a little kid who lived in a Day of the Dead world. Like the whole, Dia de los Muertos, and it was like Day of the Dead, and it was like rock and roll, and it was like all the.
Did you write Coco and then stole it from you?
No, I wrote something super similar, and then here's this preview for Coco, and I never did anything with it. And I always told myself, I'm going to do it. And now, if I put that out, it totally looks like I ripped off Coco when I had this idea, and it's not the exact same story. Mine was like this land only had mariachi music, and this little kid kind of leaves his land and goes across all these different lands and ends up in our real world somehow and discovers like rock and roll and then takes it back to his mariachi land. So that was kind of
it's close enough,
the idea.
though.
Yeah, it was so.
It's like one of those the Lion King, Hamlet, or one of the movies where they kind of just they took it, dude.
Yeah.
Do you think they found your hard drive or something?
I don't know. But like,
is good.
Yeah, Coco came out and I was just like frustrated. So I'm out there. If you're listening, man, you have a dream. Get on it, man. You never know. That guy that always has that invention,
right?
And then he's always like, I thought of that. You know what I'm saying? Well, you got to move. So I learned that with Coco. So my next story I'm working on is super.
got to keep it on the down
Yeah,
low.
it's super insane.
Because I was going to ask you, but now I'm not.
I'm a weird, like, I have an interesting mind, so I doubt, I haven't seen really anything like this. And if somebody does come up with this next story, it's so weird that I'm like,
They're tapping your brain.
yeah, or I'm like, hey, I should totally hang out with that guy. You know what I'm saying? We should
Yeah.
be best friends.
Okay. Hey, I have a friend that claims he invented the McGriddle. You know how I don't even know if they still have this at McDonald's, but remember
Yeah.
how they used to, like, infuse syrup
Yeah,
inside
yeah.
of the buns, the breakfast
Was it?
sandwich?
Yeah, like a little. Yeah, I totally
The
understand.
McGriddle. And I was like, no, you didn't.
And so, what happened? What did he say? What was?
No,
his
he
deal?
just said, like, I thought of this years ago. Like, oh, man, you should have opened your own
Yeah.
fast food chain, in the 40s or something like that.
Yeah.
But
Well, I don't think the McGriddle was around then, but yeah. Man, like I said, you got ideas, man. You got to jump on them these days. That's my thing, man. And people, like we said, like I'm not a great 9-to-5er. It's like it's all about being self-aware. Like you're like, hey, you do all these things. So right now, I do barber work, I do photography, and I run this wrestling podcast, and I dip into some things here and there. But somebody's out there doing what you love to do and making money and taking care of their family on it. Why not it be you? And that's kind of a philosophy I fell into a few years back. Just like, man, I really want to. And it takes work. It's not like, oh, I'm just out here playing around, but like everything takes work. And you think, oh, I'm working my 9-to-5, my 40 hours a week. I'm going to go do this thing and it's going to be easier. No. You're going to put in 80 hours a week to make this thing launch, to start your businesses, to do what you love to do. But you're so passionate about it that it doesn't matter. You're going to put in that work anyways. And
Yeah.
so, and that's kind of where I'm at in life, where it's like, man, I felt like I was getting kind of too old to be like wearing a name tag somewhere, and I just said, man, I want to follow my dreams. I want to do what I want to do. And I want to be able to take care of my family on it. And the Lord's blessed us, and all the doors open, and every single month our bills and our rent's provided for, and that's all glory to God on my end. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's an interesting journey, and I'm on it now. And will I be on it forever? Hopefully, that's the goal. But you never know. So.
How are things going to change once you get your barber's the license to be able to cut and stuff? Oh, Ethan wants water.
Oh, okay.
Ethan,
I thought it was something important. I'm like, did we blow something up on the soundboard? Man, I that's a big debate. There's two schools of thought. I can go work for somebody, but then you're ending up you're paying rent, you're paying booth rent somewhere. So anywhere from $150 to $250.
Yeah.
Right. So let's say on the $250 end, that means your barbershop's probably rocking and rolling. You're still paying $1,000 a month to be in a chair somewhere. And for a guy like me, man, I'm just like, I can pay $1,000 a month into a rent somewhere and start my own shop and have, barbers underneath me. That's my ultimate goal, and I'm crazy enough to just jump out in that. Where I'm cutting now, I don't have a lot of overhead. We've converted something for me to cut in our house, So ideally, if I can get enough clientele, a lot of barbers like to do that. A lot of hairstylists like to have that home studio, but you don't have any walk-in traffic. So it's a big up and down, you know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of questions. So, and I can go crazy thinking about it, and I do actually, but I have to stop myself and go, hey, it doesn't matter until you get that piece of paper that says, hey, you're a licensed barber.
Do you think that barbering will ever like turn into what feels like a 9-to-5, and you may just be like, I don't know?
Yeah, I mean, it can be. Like right now, I'm in love with it. Like, it's for me. When I first started cutting hair, it was very. I would say like Mr. Miyagi and the bonsai tree. Like it's super relaxing, man. The way I schedule myself too, I don't overload. I'm not like super like money hungry where it's like, oh, I got to get people in every 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't feel like that relates. Good relationship with the client. I don't want them to feel like cattle. I used to really worry about going so slow. Oh my God, I'm taking forever, and now I don't. Sometimes I'm finished and I'm like, let me do a few more things just to trim it up, just so that client feels like they had that personal touch and they weren't at like one of these chain haircutting places where they're just once you in and once you out. My goal is to build communion with people, build relationships with people, and have that connection of not just for customer service, but just like you kind of said, man. I don't say I know everybody, but I am, and I try to build relationships with people, man, because you just never know. One, I find human beings the most interesting things on the face of the planet. The stories, you never know, man. I've had older gentlemen sit in my chair and tell me how they literally joined the circus when they were kids, and I was like, "Oh, you're kidding?" And they were like, "No, I'm 1,000% serious." Like at 18, my parents kicked me out, and I had nowhere to go. Like, you know what I'm saying? And now these guys are in their 60s and 70s, and we're having those conversations where they were there when Ringling Brothers was just launching off and stuff like that, and they were part of this whole deal. And so that's the stuff that kind of. Again, imagination, right? It sparks this whole imagination in me, and I'm like, man, that's what excites me. That's what gets me going. So I've heard some crazy stories. I met a guy one time that he played drums for Elvis when he was like 14 years old. He was at this and this was when I was a guitar center. I'm always just asking questions, right? Some people say nosy. I like to say inquisitive, but and he tells me, man, I was 14 years old. I was in this bar. I shouldn't have been. My dad was part of the house band. He drugged me into this bar to play drums. So he played guitar. I played drums. We had a bass player. And this guy gets up. His hair wasn't even dyed black yet, And he said, hey, I'm Elvis Aaron Presley, and I'm about to put out, this record on Sun Records. And it was before he even put out his album. And he's like, hey, we're going to play the song. And they played That's All Right, Mama. And he played That's All Right with Elvis, And he said later on, then he was playing for Jerry Lee Lewis. He said, I was in this orchestra pit. Like, remember back in the day, they used to have like the guys all sit on stage behind the little wall. He said Jerry Lee Lewis came out and he drank so much right before he went on that he threw up over the wall onto my shoes. And I never played for him ever again. And so just these stories this guy was telling me, man, I just found interesting.
That Elvis story, that's probably one where you're like, oh, okay, yeah, that guy's pretty good. And then later you look at the body of work and the career and it's like, man,
yeah,
that was Elvis Presley. He wasn't Elvis Presley yet.
He said, I just remember the guy because his name was weird, Elvis. You know what I'm saying? So
have you ever had that happen to you? Like even, playing music, growing up, there's somebody that crosses paths and you're like, oh, they're good. And then later it's like, man, they put the work in and they went on and did it.
Yeah, man. I saw, and for the hardcore scene we kind of grew up in, man, I saw Under Oath at Mary Jane's Fat Cats. You remember that place? Yeah. And it was I remember the first time, I think Under Oath really changed the game in hardcore music because of, and I know we're kind of all over the place, but I'd never seen a hardcore band use a keyboard before them, really, And I was even like, back in those days, I was like, tough rock kid, and I was like, keyboard? What's this, dude? Like, oh, this is going to be lame. And that keyboard is, first of all, he's like 6'4" or something. He's ridiculously huge. And he rocked harder than anybody on the stage as far as the energy he threw out there. I've never seen a keyboardist, besides Jerry Lee Lewis, I'm going to throw that out there as a pianist, with that much energy.
Yeah.
And after that, every single hardcore band I see either had a synthesizer or a keyboard or even a keytar from time to time.
Then the programming, with technology, and I'm sure people were already programming stuff, but even like their next records and everything, they were able to do stuff that a lot of bands implemented as well, and in a different way.
For sure. So, you got to, even being from Texas, you talk about programming, recording and stuff. Buddy Holly, I think, wasn't he the first guy to double track his guitars, from my understanding? And can you imagine just seeing, just this guy, Buddy Holly with big glasses, and dude change recording forever? You know what I'm saying? So, you just never know these little, like, local, what do you call them, open mics. Like, you never know. Like, I really, enjoy being there because I've seen some cool stuff. And then you follow these guys on Instagram now, social media, and then you're like, these dudes are opening up for so-and-so, or they're playing in Hawaii, and, whatever.
Yeah, there's a band, and I've played a lot of shows, especially house shows, right? And so even in my own house at times, you know this, there's a band that's from Houston, and I was probably like 25 at the time, maybe, and they were like 17, 18 years old, and they opened up the show, and my band played on the show as well. Flash forward a couple years later, one of the guys from like Good Charlotte signs them, as I'm going to manage you, sign you, and now they're touring the country. From Houston.
Can we talk about their name?
Yeah, it's Water Parks.
Okay. Water
Parks is the name of the group, and it's just it's interesting to see, and it's like, man, because I remember watching them, and I listened to the record. I was like, yeah, this record's pretty good. It sounded like it was. I think they recorded local, but it was good guitars, and I think the main thing was the vocal was very unique and good, and then the energy that they put out. But since that time, as musicians, like, I'll go watch a YouTube video, and it's like, well, they've grown. Obviously, they were really young, but somebody saw something in them, and
I think I saw August Burns Red when they were like 15, 16. They were still like had their parents on tour with them. Like their parents were working the merch booth, and they came out in like flip flops and board shorts, and you were like, back then, everybody dressed a certain way or whatever.
Right?
Like,
yeah.
Who are these guys? They brought it now.
Flip flops. That was like August Burns Red. I remember all the time flip flops.
Yeah. So I think what's been about 10, 15 years they've been around.
Hey, so we've talked about your sister before and how she's in school. Like, y'all's personalities were a little bit different. What about your parents? Were they supportive of that? Like helping, like, hey, I'll work the merch booth, or I'll help do this.
They weren't unsupportive, but they weren't like, they're just very, which me and my sister laugh because they're not as people-y as us, I guess. Like my dad's super like, hey dad, we're having this family party, and he's like, okay, like I'm not going. Like, you know what I'm saying? Dad, it's New Year's, it'll change without me, you know. So the other day he went to a relative's party. It was at Geo's, and we were like all like flipping out, like, who got dad out of the house, you know?
Yeah.
And he was like, I just wanted some chicken Alfredo. Like, I mean, it had nothing to do with, you know, anything else. But yeah, no, their personalities are way different than me and mine. And they weren't unsupportive. I guess they were super supportive. And there were times when I had band practices in my living room, and they were like, oh, you know, whatever. So they're supportive in that, like not telling me, no, you can't. But, and I guess it's supportive in like, hey, I'll buy you this guitar or whatever. You know, when I was a kid, didn't have any money, but not so much as in like, hey, I'm going to go to your show. I don't think they've ever, you know, but I wouldn't expect them to either. You know, I can't see my dad in the pit at a punk rock show. So I don't think the kids could handle him. No, I'm just kidding. So no, but
maybe you didn't give him a flyer.
I know. That's
Dude, I was
what it
thinking about that this morning. Marcus Galavez, you know, in my
Yeah.
first band, you know, Marcus, good friend. And I went to a Abundant Life Christian school right next door, 200 people in the entire school, maybe 20 people in my grade. But being in school, making flyers, probably sneaking into the copy room to make copies of said flyers and
That's
passing them
awesome.
around the school.
Yeah.
You know, and it was, I don't know. It was just interesting. For some reason, that crossed my mind this morning.
It's
as I was
very
driving in.
DIY, you know. I mean, it's very. What was I? I was talking to somebody the other day, and we were talking about flyer, and they're like, flyering doesn't work anymore. And I'm like, I get it, you know, but there is something about like that. You remember back in the day, man, it wasn't even like, oh, let me put this on Photoshop. It was like we were cutting things out of magazines and putting them on a Xerox page, and you know, or getting, hey, draw this. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't really a digital era back then. One, we didn't have any money to pay anybody, and two, yes.
Hey, here's a text, and it says they did go, and I think this is directed towards you, talking about your parents. It said they went to Thelma Weber and bought your album. Unless
who was that?
I don't. It's a number. I don't know. It's just they texted KHEA radio.
Oh, maybe. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure. So we did have shows at Thelma Weber a lot.
Yeah.
So
Thelma Weber was, and it's still there.
you
I
were
haven't
there.
been
Did you
in
go
years.
to those shows?
Yeah.
Did you? Did you ever attend any of the Thelma Weber shows?
I did. I put some on, you know, as a kid as well. And so back then it was like, hey, $2, you know, like, oh, pay $2 maybe. You
I
know?
used to throw those, and I don't even know how we got on this subject, but I used to throw a lot of those Toys for Tots shows, man. Every getting close to Christmas, like, hey, bring a toy, you'll get it for free. Have all these bands come out. Thelma Weber was like this weird little community center in Santa Fe, and it was cool. Like, you talk about doing something and dreaming and going out. Like, we were these like little punk rock kids in school, and I guess a little piece of this stays with me today that. When we used to, there's like 2 or 3 bands, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we'd start throwing shows in like in people's backyard, like 20 people would show up. By the time we graduated, in a year or two out of high school, we could throw a show and 200 people would show up in Santa Fe, Texas, at this little community center. It's crazy, you know what I'm saying? And so it just goes to show that if you put your mind to something, you stick to something, and you kind of believe and put in the work, that you can change whatever you think. You know, nobody thought at that time this little country town would support like punk rock music, you know what I'm saying? And it wasn't even just the town. People came out from all over, and it got so weird that like touring bands would come through and be like, hey, our show got canceled. We heard about this place. Can we play? And then like these crazy, you know, bigger bands on labels that are traveling the country would come in and play. And so, you know, it was super interesting back then. It was weird.
Yeah.
So,
And then you look at the wrestling shows. Like, look at Undisputed Pro Wrestling out in Santa Fe.
yeah.
Several hundred people come out.
I think
and
there was like
watch this.
350 on their first show.
Yeah.
Something.
That's nuts. And I know you're involved, and we're helping promote that as well.
Well, October 18th.
There you go.
October 18th in Bay Cliff, Texas.
Woo.
Undisputed
go.
Pro Wrestling. I will be the ring announcer. You'll get my ladies and gentlemen, you know, Undisputed Pro. That whole mess, yeah, it's going down.
Hey, that was good.
Thank you. That's just
Have
a
you been
taste.
practicing, or that?
I haven't. I just do it.
Man,
So it's the podcast.
you
thing.
have it or you don't.
Yeah,
You're
you have
natural.
it or you don't.
Man, some
So-
of those voices, they're iconic. You know, how would you even prepare for that? Or have you been preparing your entire life?
I've never done this. I've never done this my entire life. So actually, before the 18th somewhere, I'm going to get with Mr. Bart Harris, who runs Undisputed Pro Wrestling, and be like,
Is this okay?
yeah, what are we doing here? Like, what do I say? You know, I've seen it done forever. Like, I think, like I said, wrestling's a crazy beast. I know we're all over the place, but every little part of that, from the referee to the announcer guy to the guys, you know, doing the calls, if you're shooting for TV, the commentary team, like, all of that tells this crazy story, and it's all like this cohesive unit that everything has to kind of pop off right for everything to work the way it's supposed to. So,
are you concerned at all for your safety? Because I will say this: last Undisputed Pro Wrestling in Santa Fe, Texas, the ring announcer, I remember him in the ring. He almost had to get out because it was going down. There was quite a bit of drama, especially at the end of the match.
Right. I think I was there too. I was they told me to go take pictures of these guys.
Yeah.
They had the United Undisputed Pro champion Nate Slater in the middle of the ring. He said, take pictures with the fans and Nate Slater. I said, okay, I'll help you out, my man. You know what I'm saying? Because I like Bart Harris. I'm in there. I'm taking pictures. And nobody told me, there was no pre-warning that there was going to be a giant mauling in the middle of this ring. So I was in the middle of that too. I had to get out in a hurry.
Yeah, but you ran out.
I did.
For your safety, which I don't blame you.
But
I scooted back too myself.
I just appreciate the story. I wasn't a part. I'm not trying to put myself over, That's called going into business for yourself. You know what I'm saying? In the wrestling, you gotta.
But what if it happens? As you being the ring announcer, just because that it is what it is,
You're right. I'm more worried, not so much of my body, but my glasses. Because I plan on wearing. I have a pair of 1970s vintage glasses.
Okay.
With my prescription in them. Little tent style, very Gorilla Monsoon in wrestling. That's what I was planning on wearing. So you just don't come across those all the time. I do have 2 pairs, but still, you don't come across those all the time.
If you got the glasses planned, do you have the rest of the announcing outfit?
Most of them, I might go big, go home. I don't wear suits often, but I might wear a suit, So we'll see. We'll see how all that pans out. I got to go through the old closet.
Dude, you're going to steal the show, and then they're going to be like, hey, the wrestlers are going to get mad. You can't come back. You can't come back.
They're
What's
like,
going on?
and y'all had New Texas Pro on here at one point, and they're out in
Kiefer
Abilene.
Bartek,
yeah,
and you were involved in that as well.
Stephen Roberts, he's doing some ring stuff, side stuff, man. And that cat,
his jackets,
bro. I'm so jelly. So I doubt he's listening to this, but if he is, shout out to your jacket, Stephen Roberts.
Yeah, I just saw he cut it another promo, and he had a different jacket on, and he looked good.
It's beautiful.
And his mustache,
velvet. Yeah.
How does he do that?
He has a good barber. I cut his hair and hopefully inspired the mustache because mine's curled for a lot of the time. Just sometimes I wake up too early to get it curled.
And you've done your mustache wax?
I've had mustache wax, a line of mustache wax, and I really want to get that going again, but that's a whole nother story. Man, they're super inspired by my grandfather. My grandfather was the first the mustache wax called House of David. We're out. We sold out. We don't have any more. I need to make some more, but it was very cool. The smell was like a party, but a manly party, But he used to use Elmer's glue on his mustache, and he had a big old curled mustache, and it was I remember as a kid just being in awe of this, that's my goal in life kind of vibe. And but he used Elmer's glue, and it would look awesome until the next day, and then the next day it would just be crusted over, and one would be curled one way and the other, because that's not what Elmer's glue was intended for. And so that's what really inspired me. Can we have a mustache wax that will hold your mustache, make it look clean, but not be crusty the next day? And so that's kind of what really inspired the line. He passed away, my grandfather, and so when he passed away, I kind of started curling my mustache in honor, and just I was there. I never thought I'd be there, but it's okay, now I can do that. And so
so he was punk rock.
Yeah.
So have it Elmer's glue. Let's go.
The cool thing is he has 2 brothers. I think another one passed away, but all 3 of them had different curled mustaches. If you looked at a poster of a curled mustache, they all had a version of it.
Did their dad curl his too?
I don't know. I've never seen.
He had to have had.
Yeah, I'd never met my great grandfather, but I don't know, man. That's their deal. And so one of them's still alive, and I think he still rocks the curl mustache. Sometimes I see pictures of my grandfather's brother, and I have to double take because he looks so much like my grandfather.
Yeah, someone should ask. Be like, hey, did Dad curl his stash too? Where did that come from?
That's
cool.
his style, man. I mean, it's all coming back. That grandfather with the curled mustache, before he had long and curly, he just had a solid one. But I seen black and white pictures of him carrying suits and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So
swag.
I think that's cool. Yeah, for sure. It's all coming back, man.
It is.
The 1990s is here with a vengeance.
It is, and have you? I know Ethan has, but there's a term getting thrown around. It's called a visco girl.
I have somebody.
Did we?
I lost something here.
Me too. Can y'all hear us? I don't know what happened.
Is this bad?
Is it on the top of the board?
Can anybody hear us? We may have to end the show. It's okay. There we go. We're back.
There we
What
are.
happened?
So there was a button called Q that was hit, and it's my bad. So everybody heard everything that we said, but it's okay.
Ah, cool.
Yeah.
Perfect. So Visco Girl, anyways.
Gardy just and I ooped. I can't even do the sound like for more than like 3.
Have you heard of that?
I've heard the term. I think I'm too old, and I'm sad that I even know the term. I had a cousin. She has teenage daughters, and she was telling me about this Visco Girl, and then she showed me this is what a Visco Girl is, and I was like, I think I might be a Visco Girl because I wear the Vans and I have the metal cups.
But it's
and
it's a 90s thing, yeah, with the metal cup and save
the turtles.
Yeah. Do you have your?
I do not have my water bottle with me today, but for all of our viewers or listeners, I have a Hydro Flask. I'm saving the turtles one bottle of water at a time.
Oh, is that what that is, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I carry this metal cup not because of turtle reasons, but I just like how cold it keeps my water. It's more of a
and the turtles
reason.
love it too.
Right.
They appreciate
I didn't know
it.
That, so.
Yeah. So the 90s have come back. It's weird how that happens, but with that style.
try to make a comeback. I
yeah.
heard. I heard it was a short-lived comeback. I don't think it really took off, but
yeah. They should have changed, like added something. I don't know. They should have tried something different.
Yeah.
It's too extreme.
It's super weird. Like just the fashion of the 90s was not great. Is there something that you love coming out of the 90s? Is there something
fashion-wise?
Yeah, fashion-wise.
Hair was cool. Frosted tips. I had my chain ball necklace.
Yo, that was you, huh?
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know.
I
if
didn't
I'm
frost
loving
my
the
tips. My
frosted
mom
tips.
wouldn't let me dye my hair, but
Okay.
I probably would have.
I mean, I did, but it wasn't for the 90s. I think it was the 2000s, like punk rock stuff. But it was like red, green,
Yeah.
And it was the whole hair. It wasn't just the tips. But yeah, I just look at some of these. The first time I saw this, I was doing a shoot somewhere, and I saw this little girl, and she was like 15, and she had like these mom jeans on, and I felt so bad for her. I'm like, oh, poor little girl, nobody told her, And then like fast forward a few months, they're like everywhere, and I'm like, that girl was ahead of fashion. I was all making fun of her mom jeans, you know what I'm saying? In my head, I didn't say it out loud, but like high waisted and just looking like a mom, like, oh, is your kid down for a nap kind of vibe. And so now it's all back in style, and I don't understand. We're at the age where we don't understand kids' fashions, bro.
Sometimes music is like that for me. Just with like the electronic music, and I have
like
friends.
EDM.
Yeah, I have friends that are my age that are into it. And I'm just like, but what about the instruments? But I understand, like, there's a creativity that goes into that. It takes a lot of creativity, but I can't just like jam it all the time. If it's incorporated in music, then I'll listen to it. I'm about it, and that I've jammed a lot of and put out some electronic music.
I cut a lot of people's hair, and it's almost like calling shotgun, man. The guy in the chair picks the music, so every once in a while I'll get an EDM cat in there, and I gotta sit through it, and it's not the worst. I'm not in love, I really like Steve Aoki as a human being. I think.
As a human being,
yeah, more so than he used to be in a hardcore band. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know.
Steve Aoki, yep.
Did he play the keyboard?
No, man. He was a singer, and it got so bad. I think he went back and did a hardcore show even when he was doing his tour for the EDM stuff, and he screamed so much that he like blew all his blood vessels out in his throat and had to like take like silent weeks or month or something to regain it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Skrillex, he was in a screamo band, a post-hardcore band for years.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? He had the shaved side of his head.
Yeah, I don't really know. I know who he is, but I don't know much about.
Yeah, they still are. I mean, they were like whenever I was in my, screamo band, 03, 04, 05, 06, 010, today.
2019, yeah.
Right.
We're living the glory days. Well, let me ask you this. How old is too old to revive a band? What do you think?
I don't know.
This is a weird conversation.
You look at like the Rolling Stones.
but see, that's the thing. What makes the difference? You know what I'm saying? Right. Is it a band that constantly is already on tour? That's what they do for a living. Is there an age limit? You know what I'm saying? Because I've heard, and not to bash anybody, but my friends went to go see Social Distortion, and they were like, it was not great. Like, these guys just playing their songs. You know what I'm saying? Social Distortion's been around for the 70s. A lot of people don't know that. I think 79 was the year they started, So, say you're in a band, then your band doesn't play for years, and you never really did it as a career. You're just, what's too old to do? At what point are people do not want to see?
I don't know. So if I got one of my old bands back together, and we actually did play a show with that band that was a band like in 03, 04, 05, about 3 years ago. We changed the name, and it was like a one-off. Actually, we played 2 shows. Actually, 3. We played 3 shows.
You're like, actually, we're still playing today.
Yeah, we got practice tonight.
Yeah,
we played 3 shows within like 6 or 7 months, you know. And
But I mean, it's the
it was
same
fun.
thing. Is it ever too old? Just for fun? You're like, we're not trying to make it. We're not trying to gain fans. We're just playing because
Yeah.
that's what we like to do.
Yeah,
Is that
I don't think
cool,
you're.
you know?
It's possible to be too old. I mean, you have to be realistic
Yeah.
with your expectations and why you're
'Cause
doing
when
it.
I was in a punk rock band, 3/4 Wonder Kids. It was very energetic, and it was very like, hey, we opened for bands because we grabbed the people in the front row, threw them in the middle of the pit. Like, we had mini tramps at some shows, silly string. It was insane stuff, fun. Our thing was real fun. Now I could maybe last through 2.5 songs. You know what I'm saying? Before I'm like, oh God.
You have
What-
to train for it.
Right. I have to get back, start CrossFitting to put on a show.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. Be like, I'm only getting in shape. I'm getting in show shape. I
Yeah,
need
yeah.
to last.
But then, I mean, you can look at guys like Henry Rollins, who've been playing forever, and he could fight anybody in this room and win. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, it was just a question. I didn't really have an answer. Just kind of making conversations of what's the age limit. You know, because sometimes it's like that in the wrestling business too. Back to wrestling, like some of these dudes are like, everybody wants one more match. Like you talk to guys, it's just like I saw Terry Funk, and if you don't know who Terry Funk is, he's one of the greatest hardcore wrestlers ever. At the age of 70. Both of his hips replaced at a House of Hardcore show Tommy Dreamer puts on. He was just supposed to watch Tommy Dreamer walk him out to the match. That's all he was supposed to do, is be his like valet. By the end of the match, they had to pull Terry Funk out of the match. He's throwing trash cans at people, trying to hit him with crutches, and he just got both his hips replaced.
Man, it sounds
know
like
what I'm
Ethan
saying?
on like a Tuesday.
That's right.
Sometimes just coming in here causing a ruckus. Hey, here's a comment. This is from Christy. She said 3/4 Wonder Kids remix. All y'all's kids can play together.
Oh, your kids too. They're all 6. We could. That's that might be the reason why I have 4 boys.
For the band,
secretly,
the
I haven't
family
really told
band.
anybody this. I wasn't really trying to form a baseball team. I was trying to get them to make me some money, baby. You know what I'm saying? So I can put them all in a band, and
The Chavaria brothers.
you know, right. I don't. They can even go Jonas, the way of the Jonas, the way of Hanson. Have you heard Hanson lately?
No, they're still putting out music?
Yes, I hear they're really, really good too.
That's cool.
Like people got over the annoyance of bop, and they were like, "Oh, these guys can actually play."
Yeah.
And so
I
hear
think
they're-
as kids they could play.
Yeah.
You know, to make it on that stage, I mean, you got, I don't know, there's something. You have to have something. It's not an accident. You know, even if it is like created or not, I don't know their story, but you
Yeah.
got to have some talent.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm not gonna say I'm anti Hanson, because I'm not. I'll bop with the best of them, baby.
Yeah. Hey, right now it's 10:49. Is there anything else you want to share?
Bro, I was just hanging with you. You know,
I appreciate you.
We had no agenda. We were just like,
Thank you for saving my family's my
photo,
my
the
son's
photo
photos,
wall.
Yeah.
No, thank you. I'm excited the mom liked it. So
It's good stuff. This is KHEA Radio. Y'all be blessed. Thank you, Chevy.
hey, no problem.
Bye, guys.